Alright, welcome to a Pioneer video. Normally I would be streaming this on my Twitch channel and then uploading it to YouTube later, but the internet in my apartment is not really working right now. It's working, but the upload speed is not sufficient to be able to stream, so you get some nice pre-recorded content instead of some video streamed live to Twitch. If the internet picks back up, which it has before, then I will go ahead and start streaming mid-league. But for the time being, we're just going to have this be a recorded video, and I'll put it up on YouTube whenever. So this is a mono black vampires deck. I've seen this deck around in the leagues I've been playing. It seems like it's doing pretty good. I always have a tough time beating it. They just have a lot of reach, and they can grind really well. With Forecastle Lochthwain, form Utavault, always have something to attack with. Knight of the Ebon Legion is kind of just a messed up card. Sorin Imperious Bloodlord, always doing super relevant things, putting Champion of Dusks into play, drawing a bunch of cards. It's just seemed to me like a really, really powerful, really resilient deck, and I'm really interested to see what this deck does. This is just a deck I copied off Goldfish, and yeah, we'll see what it can do. Fortunately, I really don't know what to say about my internet. My download speed is great, but upload speed is basically non-existent. This actually happened to me almost exactly a month ago when I was streaming. I'm testing my internet speed now. I'm getting like literally like 0.1 megabytes upload. So I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Last time this happened, it actually fixed itself a couple hours into the stream, so I was able to get things working again. But for the time being, we're just gonna have to go with this. I'm kind of wondering if it's something to do with like the time of the month. Maybe internet speeds get throttled later in the month. It's August 24th as I'm recording this, so maybe at the end of the month things get throttled. But I guess only the upload speed gets throttled. Not really sure. But anyway, I'll pull the deck list back up while we're waiting. Really curious to see how this deck does. There's a lot of really interesting things here. A couple Silver Smoke Ghoul that comes back if you gain 3 life, which you can do off of Lifelink from Kalitas, or Sorin's second ability. Seems like a lot of really powerful threats here. Lifelink from Gifted Aetherborn, also able to trigger Silver Smoke Ghoul if you have a counter on it. Sorin's just one of these cards that I feel like does so many different things, and I've never played with this card before, so I don't sort of intuitively know what it does, so definitely going to have to do some reading with that as this league goes on. This hand looks pretty poor. We've got 2 5-drops, which is the top of our curve, and we don't often even want to be casting this necessarily. It's something we'd really like to be putting in with Sorin's -3. So this is a pretty easy mulligan. This hand is... it's probably okay. We've got a handful of 1-mana spells and a Dusk Legion Zealot. You know, we would definitely love another land, but I think this is still keepable. We'll just put back our most expensive card, and we'll hope for the best. Island, don't really know what exactly that's going to be. I guess I'm going to leave Knight onto the Ebon Legion. Opponent on Opt. Perhaps some sort of Phoenix deck. We shall see. It's pretty much between Knight or Thoughtseize here. I don't think there's any reason to leave up Fatal Push. Looks like our opponent may be just on some sort of straight up blue-black control. Just gonna get in here. I think we're gonna want to play our Dusk Legion Zealot just because we want to be drawing into lands. Also an argument to play Gifted Aetherborn as it represents more damage. I don't think we're thought seizing here. I think we'll thought seize in a turn or two, and we try to when our opponent's more likely to be trying to do something powerful. There is our third land, which is good. Shocking for... don't know what they're shocking for. Narset. Okay, okay. Good thing we played our Dusk Legion Zealot last turn then. Our opponent just getting an opt off the Narset. So that's okay, that's okay. Ooh, I like the Sorin here. I could Sorin and throw the Dusk Legion Zealot at Narset. I think I definitely want to resolve this Sorin while there's no counter magic. I also... I don't know how much I care about getting Narset off the field. I could just hit Narset for 2. Other alternatives are playing Thoughtseize Gifted Aetherborn or playing Silversmoke Ghoul. But I don't think I want to be committing too many creatures to the board. I guess I don't know. What Wraths are there in just straight blue-black? I think Languish is in the format. So I guess I don't really want to play into that too hard. Could also just attack with Knight of the Ebon Legion and pump. But that seems bad. I think I want to resolve Sorin while I have the opportunity to. I think actually what I'd much rather do is I'd rather put a counter on probably Dusk Legion Zealot and just swing at the Narset. I don't really want to be sacrificing creatures unnecessarily. I want to make my opponent take some effort, spend some effort getting rid of my creatures. No need to do their work for them. And spreading out the counter to the Dusk Legion Zealots to make my creatures, just to spread out the power between them. Knight of the Ebon Legion generally, obviously the much more powerful card, but making this 2/2 gives that some pressure as well. Wish we'd been able to exert a little more pressure on our opponent's life total at this point. Opponent at 15. This is really interesting. If we put a counter on the Dusk Legion Zealot, we're actually going to be able to gain 3 life and potentially get the Silversmoke Ghoul back. I assume our opponent would have something to say about that, given they made this play. This Silversmoke Ghoul, pretty at home in our deck. Pretty at home in the graveyard. So we're going to go ahead and Thoughtseize and try to see if we can figure out what they have planned. It looks like they're just going to let us get the Silversmoke Ghoul back, which is really interesting. Yeah, so Scarab God, obviously a problem here. The unfortunate thing about that is that if we discard the Scarab God, our opponent is going to be able to crack Fabled Passage and cast Dig Through Time. But I think that might just have to be something we deal with. Because if our opponent resolves the Scarab God, I don't really know what our plan would be. Like, we would have 7 power on the board. But our opponent would have a 5/5 wall in play. Can't push the Scarab God. And we could put a counter on the Knight of the Ebon Legion and pump it. But that's not really a long-term answer. On the other hand, if we let our opponent dig, I feel like that's just really problematic. I'm going to go ahead and take the dig here. We've got some pretty powerful creatures. And I think we're going to be able to I think we can fight through the Scarab God. Our opponent will have Cycling Neutralize up, but don't think they're going to be able to do anything else. Now, the Ebon Legion getting a counter, Silver Smoke Ghoul coming back. Yeah, this is a pretty strong board. If our opponent just slams Scarab God here, I mean, I think we can kind of just attack with everything. We're going to be able to sack a Vampire for 3 damage anyways. So what does this represent here? This represents the most damage because we can pump it, but then our opponent will be taking 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we can throw a Vampire at them with Sorin afterwards. So yeah, it's just attack and lethal. Don't think I'm miscounting anything here. Opponents doing the math up themselves. Okay, so this, so we're gonna have to pump this. That's gonna be 10 damage, and this is any target. Yep, that's any target. So we're gonna go and sacrifice this because it'll come back, but sacrifice a Vampire. Shoot you. Sweet. Quick first game. What are we looking at post-board? Fatal Push is probably not super relevant, although that is one of those cards that you can't have to worry about taking them all out. Sometimes your opponent will bring something in that make you wish you had access to some removal. Agonizing Remorse, discard, probably effective against our opponent. Rankle could be okay. Might be a tad hard to resolve. I kind of don't hate a Soul Guide Lantern. Should make our opponents dig through times a little bit worse. It's not amazing though. Is there anything else we want to be taking out here? Heartless Act to destroy a Scarab God. I think having 1 is fine. Murderous Rider can handle some Planeswalkers. I think this is okay. It's kind of just this Rankle. I kind of like the Rankle as a strong threat. Vulnerable to counterspells, but it has haste, can get in, do something. I feel like it's probably a better tool against mid-range decks, though. Decks that are likely to have just 1 creature in play that we're likely to be able to get value out of that way, so I think this is fine. I don't hate Liliana the Last Hope either. The plus not going to be super relevant, but it's just a good clock. It's actually kind of marching your way to ultimate, and if you're able to -7, I think you pretty much won that game. But really, I'd want it in the situation where the +1 is actually going to be killing some creatures. It's not like there's going to be well, there could be Snapcaster Mages in this format. How do I feel about this? This hand is not going to get on the board too quickly. Definitely giving our opponent time to set up. We are going to be able to snipe some important cards from them, but I'd really just like to have a 1 or 2 drop here. Mutavault is a nice card. It's going to be able to attack. Not really seeing any good ways to get the Silver Smoke Ghoul back, though. Champion is just kind of not doing too much. I don't know, this is a tough one. This is like, it's a hand of fine cards, but it just doesn't feel like a functional hand for what we want to be doing in the matchup. So I think you have to mulligan this. This I like better. This has some disruption in some earlier plays, so we'll keep this. You can actually see pitching a land here. Could also pitch the Murderous Rider. I don't think it's doing a whole lot. And land's not too bad when we have a Castle Lochthwain. It's going to be able to do some stuff for us. the other hand, I don't know. I feel like we need to keep the action we have. It's hard to say. I'll put the Murderous Rider back. But I'm not too confident about that. Alright. You know, I have a 2 and a 3 here, so I'm just going to play the Soul Guide Lantern now. I don't mind too much missing the Enter the Battlefield trigger at the moment. One of the main reasons I think Soul Guide Lantern is seeing a lot of play is because of Uro. It's a good way to just snipe the Uro. Snipe one Uro in a graveyard and then be able to do something later. In this case, we're not trying to hit a singular card, we're more just trying to keep our opponent's graveyard under control, and so because of that I don't mind missing out on a single trigger. I think I just want to resolve this Gifted Aetherborn now. We can Agonizing Remorse next turn. I don't think there's anything we're too scared of our opponent doing, and if they're gonna hold up a counterspell next turn just for the Agonizing Remorse, it's a fine trade. It's probably what we're gonna take anyway. This might be a Narset again, sure. Alright, I'm not too excited about how this game is playing out so far. Alright, so 2 Heroes Downfalls and a Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Not ideal. This Narset going to be shutting off our Champion of Dusk. For now, I think we just need to shut off our opponent's sources of card advantage, so we'll take the Jace. We'll pop the Soul Guide Lantern on our opponent's turn and make sure we don't do that on our turn into a Narset. Champion of Dusk's unfortunately probably just going to get hit by a Hero's Downfall, but we can deal with that, hopefully. Castle Lochthwain, again, just need to make sure we activate this on our opponent's turn to play around Narset. Opponent got an Essence Scatter. It's good to know about. There's the Opt. We're going to take some damage from this Castle Lochthwain, but that's fine. Our opponent is not putting any substantial pressure on our life total. Dusk Legion Zealot, great card to have here. It's just something to pressure the Narset. We're not going to get the card draw because of the Narset, but if we make our opponent spend a Hero's Downfall on this because they want to protect their Narset, that's a win in my book. Yeah, they drew a Fatal Push. That's fine. It still made them spend a Fatal Push. Narset actually doing a pretty good number against us, honestly. Just gonna run this Knight of the Ebon Legion out. I expect this to get Essence Scattered or Heroes Downfalled. But we just kind of have to work our way through these eventually. It's gonna be Heroes Downfall. Yep. Again, make sure we castle on our opponent's turn. That's a Planeswalker. That's pretty good. This is gonna snowball things out of control pretty quickly. We pretty much need a Hero's Downfall, like, right now. Or, Murderous Rider, rather. That is not what we got. We'll play out our 1/1 anyway. And, honestly, we probably just need to play this out. Should have done this in the other order. Now we're going to lose 2 life. This will at least resolve. It'll be a blocker for the 2/3. Unless our opponent Heroes Downfalls it, which is probably what they'll do, just to start getting through. I do kind of like this game. Like, this game is clearly not going our way, but it is clearly showing a lot of the power of the deck. If it weren't for this Narset, there would be a lot of powerful things we'd be able to be doing. We'd be drawing cards with these Dusk Legion Zealots and Champion of Dusks. Mutavault is just a land that attacks. It's easy to see how this deck can grind out, and that's one of the things that really impressed me when I've been playing against the deck. Obviously not working out here because of the Narset, but I think it's important to be able to see the potential in the deck, even if it's not actually performing right at the moment. Alright, well, I guess we're gonna try to attack this Narset. Our opponent left it vulnerable by not making a 2-3 with the Ashiok. Because we would really like to be able to draw 2 cards here. Wouldn't not be surprised if our opponent has a Fatal Push, or I guess we know they have another Hero's Downfall, so. Not be surprised if they want to go for that. Yep. Now we're pretty much dead. This, yeah. I can scoop it up at this point. That fan's coming through a little hot on the microphone. I was going to sacrifice green or white creatures. I'm actually going to put in a Rankle over this Soul Guide Lantern. Didn't really feel like Soul Guide Lantern was doing too much for us there. And Rankle could do some powerful stuff, so we'll give Rankle a shot. We would like to play first. Sign is not going to work out. No black mana. Easy mulligan. This is fine. Fine with sand. We'll put a Swamp back. We can go 1-drop, 2-drop. We'll be drawing cards. We'll find something to. We'll find some more lands. I'm fine starting on a 2-land hand here. We'll keep this. Put this back. Still waiting to see if our internet properly comes up. It's still not working properly at the moment, unfortunately. Don't think I want to Thoughtseize here just so that I can be more mana efficient. Think I would like to. Our opponent already has a very good target for a Fatal Push, so I think we're going to go ahead and play this Gifted Aetherborn. Has the potential to get through for more damage. I don't think our opponent will waste a counterspell on Dusk Legion Zealot next turn. There's the Fatal Push on the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Would really like to draw a land here to be able to Thoughtseize. And we're definitely going to play the Dusk Legion Zealot for that reason. Don't want to miss my 3rd land drop. Fortunately, we did not hit. It's okay, we can still function on 2 lands for a little bit here. That's good, that's good. We can go ahead and attack here. I think this is about the time when we want to cast our Thoughtseize. See what our opponent's got going on and try to figure out how we want to play around whatever they have. Dig Through Time, Essence Scatter, Hero's Downfall, Hero's Downfall. Alright, well, I don't think we're going to be able to kill our opponent here too quickly, so I think we just want to take the most powerful card, which is going to be Dig Through Time. I don't think we're going to be able to force anything through all this counter magic and removal too well, so I don't think there's any point in taking one of the 3 of these. They'll still have 2 left over and that'll be fine, so we'll take the Dig Through Time. Then we'll go ahead and resolve our Gifted Aetherborn. I don't hate our position too badly. Our opponent's stuck with 3 mana removal spells. I'm actually kind of surprised by our opponent's decision to use Essence Scatter there. I feel like while they have 3 mana, they want to be using their 3 mana removal spell. That way they might be able to double Essence Scatter on a future turn, or something else. Also, they have 2 Heroes Downfall, so I really don't hate them using one of them there, but that's fine. We're not our opponent. Well, Hero's Downfall is going to be able to hit the Sorin. I think I would like to have the Silver Smoke Ghoul in the graveyard when Sorin comes up, so that we can try to get a trigger to get our Silver Smoke Ghoul back. So this turn is going to be an attack and cast Silver Smoke Ghoul. And we're definitely chipping away at our opponent here. These 2 creatures, not looking too imposing, but when you're playing blue-black and not seeing any sweepers, they could have, I think I mentioned again, they could have Languish. I believe that's Pioneer legal. Just going to check that real quick. Languish. Yeah, that is Pioneer legal. So if there's not going to be a sweeper, just having a 3 power of creatures on the board is going to eat away at a control deck. Eventually. Opponent still with a Hero's Downfall in hand. That's all we know about. This could be a Scarab God. Instead is a Jace Wielder of Mysteries. It's just gonna draw a lot of cards. It's gonna fill our opponent's graveyards for presumably dig through times. But our opponent not leaving up counter magic or removal, so this looks like a great spot to resolve a Rankle. I'm not sure if we want to be hitting the Jace or not. Because our opponent is certainly going to Hero's Downfall the Rankle. That means we could play the Sorin and start plussing. On the other hand, if we play Sorin this turn and plus on the Gifted Aetherborn, that would get us a Silver Smoke Ghoul back. I really like that. The other question is, are we going after the Jace or not? I actually think I like playing the Sorin. It's not clear what we would do with the Rankle. I don't really want to discard because I don't want to be discarding the Sorin. Can make our opponent lose life, draw cards. It's an option. Sacrificing creature, not doing anything. So I actually like this. I think I like this Sorin this turn. We'll put a counter on the Dusk Legion Zealot and get our Silver Smoke Ghoul back. So that'll present a good board for our opponent to have to deal with. And all we know that they have is a 3 mana removal spell on 1 creature. I guess our opponent could have a Fatal Push. They have left 1 mana open. That's a possibility. But our plan here is to plus on this Dusk Legion Zealot, because that'll be 4 lifelink that'll get the Silver Smoke Ghoul back. Rankle not a vampire, so we're not going to be able to put that in off Sorin's minus. That's fine. We could play around Fatal Push by just sacking Dusk Legion Zealot to shoot our opponent for 3 damage. I also kind of expect Rankle to be able to resolve next turn, because you expect our opponent to Hero's Downfall the Sorin. Yeah, I mean, if we throw the Dusk Legion Zealot, we're definitely getting in for... We're getting the 3 damage from throwing Sorin. Plus, I would expect another 1. At least from the Dusk Legion Zealot. Really, just do I want to play around Fatal Push here? I think I can play around Fatal Push. Yeah, I think I can afford to play around it. So we're gonna go ahead and sacrifice this vampire. dome our opponent for 3. They're going to be at 5 and facing 5 power on board, plus a Rankle and potentially 3 more damage from the Sorin. So, I like our position. We'll get this back. And you can see our opponent with three cards in hand, but not really having all the time to be able to deploy them. We've just been chipping our opponent down, and sure, they could have 3 removal spells in their hand, but they're only going to be able to play 1 of them now, 2 if they have a land. That is a God Eternal Kefnet. That's a card. But really, all we need to do right here is we just need to connect with a single creature here and build plus Sorin. Our opponent's going to be able to... Okay, so our opponent's got 2 removal spells, so they're going to be able to eliminate and Hero's Downfall. But that's fine. We have 3 hasty power in our hand, so we're going to come away with this game. No, we're even still safe because this can't represent a Fatal Push because there's not going to be any Revolt triggers, and our creatures are going to cost 3 and 4 mana. So this is all fine. Cool. So that's 1-0. If this is the first time you're watching any of my content, I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/rakkamar. I'm also post YouTube videos of my streams, and occasionally just some stuff I'm pre-recording as is what I'm doing now. So presumably you're watching this on YouTube and you know my channel. I would love a subscribe or a follow. Always good to see some people enjoying the content I'm putting out. This hand looks fine. It's not a particularly aggressive hand, but we've got some strong cards in it, and we don't really know exactly... We don't know the matchup, so we don't know exactly what we're going to be looking for. It looks like a fine all-around hand. We've got some removal, some hand disruption, some creatures to be playing, so I think this is fine. Okay, looks like some sort of mono blue tempo deck. Could be some sort of spirits-ish deck. I would kind of expect like the Curious Obsession type creatures. Do we want to let our opponent untap? I think that's fine. Because if they're sacrificing the Siren Storm Tamer to protect itself, then we were just going to Fatal Push it anyway. And we have the upside of our opponent trying to go Curious Obsession on the Siren Storm Tamer and really blowing them out. We'll go ahead and let this happen. Okay, well, we'll let them, actually, I do want to... I was going to say I would let this resolve so that they have less information when they're making the decision, but I do actually want to reduce their devotion so that they're looking at fewer cards. So I think it will Fatal Push now, and the question is, do I want to push the Oracle or the Siren Storm Tamer? The Oracle is a better roadblock against things like... Actually, it's not that better roadblock against that much that we have. The real question is, do I care about some spell that we're going to cast later getting countered? We might. We might, so I think I'll go ahead and push this now. This turn... Probably cast Thoughtseize this turn unless we draw something else relevant. We have nothing else to be doing anyway. Ooh. We get to play Thoughtseize and Knight of the Ebon Legion. Seems fine. Okay, so we get to see a bit better what our opponent's doing. Master of Waves, that's a little scary. What does this do? This is power equal to devotion to blue, and it's going to make things harder to kill. That's interesting. Spells cast an additional 1 to cast. I don't really like either of these cards. So I think I'm going to take the one that's... Well, Master Waves is certainly worse for us if we are unable to deal with it. This is going to hit harder sooner, though. And this continues to tax us, so I think we take this Calliope. And then we'll go ahead and play our knight. That'll be the turn. Yep, that's Siren Storm Tamer. Could definitely be scary. Okay, so we'll go ahead and attack with the knight here. Our opponent probably not going to block for fear of threat of activation, and then we can go ahead and resolve a Sorin and get a Champion of Dusk down. I like that. Actually, our opponent would be able to fly over with the Siren Storm Tamer, so maybe that's not the line we want to take. Yeah, it's kind of tough. I also don't hate getting a 4/4 into play too, though. So yeah, this is a kind of sad line, but I don't hate it. It's also going to draw us 2 cards. So this is okay. This is okay. We are going to lose a Sorin, but I think that is an acceptable loss. Master of Waves, yep. And actually our opponent is going to still be able to kill the Sorin. We're going to have a Murderous Rider to clean up this Master of Waves. Our opponent's not going to be able to have the island up for the Siren Storm Tamer. And you have to kill the Sorin here. This is fine, this is fine. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and Swift End the Master of Waves. And go ahead and get in. There's no point in attacking with the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Just attack with the Champion. And I like our position here. We've got the better board. We've got more cards in hand. Yeah, I like this. That's another Master of Waves. That's going to be pretty unfortunate. That is another Master of Waves. Okay. What are we going to do about that? And our opponent with the Siren Storm Tamer up. Be able to protect from anything too nasty. I think we're just going to have to play defense against all these elementals. We could attack with this Knight of the Ebon Legion. It can go up to a 6/7. Our opponent would have to block with 4 things. I actually don't hate that. It would clean up pretty much everything. Yeah, it seems fine. I might even pump just to get the token, the counter. On the other hand, maybe not. Yeah, I think we just kind of let this go. I wanna play out this Murderous Rider to be a lifelinking blocker. Still don't think our opponent really has good attacks here. They can't attack with the Master of Waves because I don't think they can let all their elementals go. And we're going to be able to eat 2 elementals, and the lifelink from the Murderous Rider is going to negate one of the other ones, so they're really only be getting 3 for 2. We could also block with the Mutavault just to absorb some more damage. So I think this is all fine. Master of Waves definitely looking scary, but I think we're doing perfectly fine here. Next turn we will be able to pump the Knight to get an extra counter on it and just get through for more damage because we are going to have another 3-mana up to play a Silver Smoke Ghoul. Alternatively, we could play both Silver Smoke Ghouls. But I think I'd rather just be able to pump the Knight of the Ebon Legion and get our opponent dead here. Master Waves with a very interesting interaction with Mutavault. Modern merfolk seeing that pop up sometimes. The Master Waves giving elemental creatures +1/+1, which is normally giving these 1/0 elemental creatures token toughness so that they live, but it'll also pump up your Mutavault by +1/+1, which is always a funny interaction. Something I almost got by once. Okay, we are getting in with these elementals. That's interesting. Do I need to play defensively with this Mutavault? Sorry. The cord's getting stuck in my fan. Our opponent changing their mind, so I guess that not question I'll be answering anyway. No flying blockers for the Sirens, that's fine. Got any plays? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so this is just going to be attack with the Knight for 5, because we will pump it. Could pump it twice actually, but I don't think we want to be doing that. Opponent could like chump with the Thassa's Oracle. That actually seems like a pretty decent play to me. Or they could chump with a single elemental. They can be chumping this for quite a while, but I think we're ultimately favored in this position at least. So our opponent will take 5 damage. That'll be a counter on the Knight. Presumably. And we'll get a 3/1 down. Unfortunately, not seeing too much of a line to be able to gain 3 or more life in a turn at this point, but it's definitely good to have the option. Our Knight of the Ebon Legion now a 3/4. Soon to be a 3/4. And what does our opponent have here? Some sort of bounce spell, maybe? Don't think our opponent is really running a known deck, so I guess I could look it up. Does MTG Goldfish have any decks running Master of Waves? Oh, Brazen Borrower. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's going to speed up their clock quite a bit. That could be a problem. It's going to get through for 4 flying, so our opponent would be getting through for 9, it looks like. No, they bounced the Murder Strider. Sorry, hang on. So we're gonna be blocking. If they attack with everything, we're gonna be blocking 2 creatures. They're gonna be getting through for 6. Looks like exactly 11. This is gonna be 6, 9, 10, 11. Yep, and they bounced the Murder Strider, which is gonna have lifelink. So good play on our opponent's part. I liked our position, but Brazen Borrower doing a good job there. Alright. I very much like Liliana the Last Hope here. I think I also like the Kalitas. I think creatures will be dying. I also like a Heartless Act. Killing a Master Wave seems like a pretty big game here. What are we taking out? I don't know that we really need the Thought Seizes. I think our creatures are just going to be better than our opponents. I didn't see any sort of counter magic. I don't think we need to be Thought Seizing here. I think we just cut a Singleton something. Maybe just a top end Champion of Dusk. Yeah, I think that's fine. Rankle. I don't think there's really a spot for Rankle. It seems fine, but... well, I don't know. Having a 3/3 flyer seems pretty decent as is. I guess it's only going to trade with... Could get ambushed by the Brazen Borrower. I think it's fine. I think it's fine as is. Could actually maybe take out the Silver Smoke Ghouls. I feel like they're not at their best here. It's also kind of hard to say because we didn't see too much of what our opponent's playing. We saw Siren Stormtamer, we saw Master of Waves, we saw Brazen Borrower, we saw Thassa's Oracle. Thassa's Oracle, I think, mostly just adding Devotion there. Yeah, our opponent's basically running Mono Blue Devotion here. This hand doesn't look great. Our interaction is expensive. Soren's not really able to do too much here, I don't think. This hand I like. Liliana. I really like Liliana in this matchup. I think Liliana will be doing very powerful things. And we have a 2-drop and a removal spell to back it up. If our opponent has no turn 2 play, I might be worried about a negate of some sort. Doesn't feel like exactly what our opponent would be doing. Maybe they might be running... there's definitely some like conditional removal spells. Countervailing Winds or something. Don't remember exactly what, but... we'll see, we'll see. I would expect some sort of like Thassa's Oracle here. No? Alright, well, this is really an interesting question now. Do I run out the Liliana into potential counter magic? Oh, our opponent's going to... it's like a Merfolk Trickster? Just gonna bounce that. Okay, well, it's fine with me. I'm more than happy to resolve this. Go ahead and plus on nothing. Actually, this Brazen Borrower could be a little annoying. Our opponent will be able to flash it in. I guess we can have it Murderous Rider. So we're not going to be able to push it unless we're able to set up Revolt somehow. Not too sure how we would do that. Gadwick the Wizened. So you're just playing a 3-mana 3/3. Okay. Well, we can shrink that. It's not too bad. Could be using some lands here. Actually kind of wondering if we should be just running out an actual factual Murderous Rider. I don't really think that's necessary. I think we can play Gifted Aetherborn here. You cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent opponent controls. Okay, playing defense might be kind of hard here, but Gadwick at least only having 1 power. Brazen Borrower having flash is really annoying. It's going to get the first crack at Liliana. I'd really love to get one of these Kalidases in play. Really love a land. Opponent with a pretty full hand. Kind of worried about what they might be able to do. If they just pass, they're probably going to be planning to play on the Brazen Borrower. Which case I think I would have to hold up Murderous Rider for that. Okay, our opponent going with Thassa's Oracle here. This Gadwick is going to make the Liliana ultimate plan pretty difficult. It's going to be hard for us to keep blockers down. Our opponent, at least here, pretty clearly saying that they're not going to be casting this great Brazen Borrower. And they got to Impulse for 5, which is a pretty big game. Yeah, we're going to knock the Liliana down a bit. That's fine, that's fine. I could push the Sauce's Oracle now. It'll just kind of be a way to protect the Liliana. I think I can afford to hang on to it. This is relevant. This could draw us a land, this could draw us a lot of things, a lot of useful things. It's also just a body in play that can be blocking things. Still sort of on this protecting Liliana plan, which honestly not doing too much here. If we can get to chump this Gadwick with the Dusk Legion Zealot and then be able to push it, I wouldn't mind that. It would help us protect our Liliana a little better. Not really sure if I like my position here. It's okay, I like having this Liliana in play. Our opponent is definitely like having trouble answering it, but we're not really getting a whole lot of traction with it either. That Nykthos is pretty good. That is pretty good. We have one of those too. We should draw our Nykthos. Our opponent tapping like this, though, I don't think they're going to be able to play their Brazen Borrower. This Thassa is indestructible, which is... it is a creature. It's definitely worrisome. Definitely worrisome. Okay, so how are we going to do this? I think we just need to keep this Thassa from being a creature. So I think we just need... I think we're going to want to push this Oracle. We can minus on the Brazen Borrower. Our opponent's still going to have the Gadwick. But it is very interesting that our opponent is just going to let us have this Brazen Borrower. I wonder if they have like a dive down. The high value play is obviously to play the Kalitas and then try to kill the Brazen Borrower. I kind of don't expect it to work because this was a very strange play. But I think we still have to make it. I think we're going to want to be playing this Kalitas anyway. I really just don't see any line where casting that Brazen Borrower makes sense. I guess they just wanted to play it while they had mana to play it, but it's literally just about to die. Unless they have the dive down. Am I really going to make this play if I assume that they have dive down? I mean, I don't know what other play I'm making. What else am I going to do with this Liliana? And I'm playing this Kalitas anyway. So yeah, I think I just make the obvious play. I don't think there's really anything else to be doing here. Oh, it worked. I was not expecting that. I think we have to expect their opponent's going to be attacking with 2 creatures, and they're going to be able to tap at least 1 creature, maybe 2, so I think I don't even attack this turn. Yeah, that's fine. Any permanent is going to give our opponent devotion. Pretty much any permanent. I think the Thassa is going to just get chump blocked with the Dusk Legion Zealot. That is also a thing Thassa does. Did not actually realize that. This is coming in at the Liliana. I can't do anything about that, so that's fine. We're definitely going to try to Murderous Rider this Gadwick. We can try doing that post-combat. I guess I would really like to know if this is going to work out. Or not. Maybe I leave a Dusk Legion Zealot back. I don't think that's going to accomplish too much. Yep, that's some damage. And then, yeah, I think well, I could just plus on this Gadwick. I'm going to plus on something anyway. I could just leave it be. I'll have 2 blockers here. And even if the Gadwick is getting through, it's getting through for 1. Here we have the Murderous Rider up. I think this is fine. Our opponent, just with 3 cards in hand, I don't really know what they have. They didn't have the dive down. Yeah, I'm just really not sure. Okay, Master of Waves. That's definitely something I'm going to attempt to Murderous Rider. I'm kind of glad I hung on to this. Alternatively, if my opponent is going to let me jump with a Dusk Legion Zealot, that is an excellent Fatal Push target. So only triggers on non-token creatures, yep. I guess this is a Nicholas activation? Which would make a good amount of mana. Opponent could also be making Thassa unblockable here. It would be kind of a shame. That would at least turn on Revolt, though. Gadwick can't be blocked. Does it say another target creature? Nope, just target creature. And Thassa going to be unblockable. Okay, okay. Well, I think this is kind of manageable then, honestly. Because we're going to be able to kill the Master of Waves, untap and Murderous Rider the Gadwick. Yep, this is fine. Liliana dying here. But we are going to be able to Fatal Push the Master of Waves. Get a zombie for our troubles. Our opponent is tapped out. We may just have lethal 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're short of lethal. Just attack with everybody here. Do we even need to kill this Gadwick? We have enough creatures in play. I'm kind of fine just passing. Save the Murderous Rider for something truly terrifying. See if our opponent taps out or something. Man, our opponent being on 2, I just really don't know what they could do. A line I did not realize before that I had access to is sacrificing something to the Kalidas to trigger Revolt for the Fatal Push. It's good to notice. Alright, so we won that. Back to considering this Rankle. I kind of like it, honestly. It's matched up well with a lot of their creatures. It is expensive, though. But I don't hate kind of stripping cards out of their hand. We'll try a couple here. We'll make the switch and we'll see what that does. Maybe I'll put 1 in over this. Actually, not really loving Silver Smoke Ghoul here, so we'll go ahead and try that. We'll see how that goes. Alright, game 3 of match number 2 here with mono black vampires. Ooh. I don't know how I feel about this hand. We're going to have a strong few things to do for a few turns, but it's a little awkward that we can't play our Mutavault until turn 3 because these gifted Aetherborns. And I would really like to have a removal spell or two for a Master of Waves. We might be able to draw into it. I feel like we can do better. On 6 I keep this, but on 7 I think we can try again. This is not very good, but I think you keep a lot of things on 6. Just put an extra land back. We got a lot of lands. 2 Mutavaults I think will really come in handy here. I think we'll actually lead on Mutavault. Are we going to lead on Mutavault? The reason to lead on Mutavault is to be able to get in for 2 on turn 2. The downside is if we draw a gifted Aetherborn, then we would have preferred the swamp. Honestly, not sure if we're the beatdown or the control in this matchup. I feel like we might be the control, in which case this is the wrong line to be taking. An interesting line we can take is waiting to play this champion until we're able to activate these Mutavaults before playing it. Then we'll have some extra vampires in play to trigger the champion. Okay, so we're going to trade off here. Honestly, I'm totally fine with this. If our opponent is trading spells for our lands, like we've got too many lands, and that's pretty okay with us. It is definitely setting back our lands development. They're not doing that. They're just running out the Trickster. That makes sense. Shadow Spirit looking like a pretty good card here. It's going to make it really hard for us to race our opponent. Thassa. Okay, okay. I don't really like where this is going. I feel like this is going to be a hard match to win. I do like the Sorin. Sorin's going to put a Champion Dusk into play. It's then going to die to the Merfolk Trickster, but then we have a Champion Dusk in play. I like that. I could wait another turn so that I could do the Mutavault trick I was just talking about, and I can maybe Heartless Act the Merfolk Trickster in the meantime. It's an interesting thought. Yeah, I'm actually kind of down with that. Okay. We'll pass turn. On the other hand, I feel like we really want to be saving this Heartless Act for like a Master of Waves. I guess we'll see. Maybe our opponent will play a Master of Waves this turn. In which case, this makes everything pretty easy for us. Our opponent on 3 Devotion right now, so it's definitely possible that they get this Thassa active. But I guess we'll probably be able to Heartless Act whatever they play. We're just going with that, okay. Okay, this is just a Heartless Act you then. Opponent doesn't seem to have too much going on. If our opponent has no creatures in play, we're pretty okay. That's a legendary artifact. I don't know if you wanted to do that. Okay. Okay, okay. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Then we're going to go ahead and make you a creature so that I can put a Champion of Dusk into play. Technically, I should have done this slightly different. I should have ordered this slightly differently. My opponent had a window where they could have done something to the Sorin, but this is fine. We got a 4-4 in play. Might even be able to start putting counters on it if our opponent's not doing anything. I do wish we had a way to be able to do something about this Thassa. Play our opponent's Scry every turn doesn't exactly seem like what we want to be doing. But I like our position right now. Okay, nothing going on right now. Our opponent's scryed to the top and is not doing anything, so I'm definitely expecting that something is going to happen. So I think I want to plan for to cast Murderous Rider this turn. Or to cast Swift End, rather. I can still attack with the Mutavault and do that. And the question is, what do I want to do with the Sorin? I'm probably putting a counter on something. Do I want it to be the Mutavault or the Champion? Probably the Mutavault, just to spread love around. So we'll go ahead and see what happens. This could be a Merfolk Trickster. This could be Brazen Borrower. It's Brazen Borrower, okay. It's fine. Our opponent not going to be able to play that this turn. So that's not too bad. If our opponent plays it next turn, we'll be able to Murderous Rider it. Unfortunately, our opponent can flash it in and be able to threaten the Sorin pretty effectively. But for right now, we're doing okay. Probably should have played this other Mutavault the previous turn just so we're able to have more attackers. I think that was definitely a mistake. Got plenty of black mana. We're not really hurting for that right now. I also have an Urborg in play, or an Urborg in hand, so we have access to all the black mana we need. Scry to the top again. Nyctho's not doing much for our opponent right here. This looks like a Master of Waves. No, what is this? Probably a Gadwick. Okay, okay. Well, we can go and kill that now. It's definitely something we're going to want to be doing. And I think we might just do the same trick to draw 2 cards with our Champion of Dusk. So Zombie Knight is not a vampire. I think actually just want to get some Void Presence, so I think we're actually going to play this Dusk Legion Zealot. This also represents another card that we'll be drawing with Champion of Dusk. I think we just want to cast this. Just want to be casting our spells here. Get some board presence, and we'll put a counter on here. And that's fine. Next turn we can draw 4 cards with Champion of Dusk. Seems pretty good. Our opponent's still getting a lot of value off this Thassa, which is not ideal. I mean, you're not going to put Thassa in your deck just to scry with it, but you can't deny the value they've gotten off of it. I'd be interested to go back and look at exactly how this game developed. I feel like we probably could have gotten some more damage in with our Mutavaults than we did. I've said a few times on streams and such, I feel like missing opportunities where I could be getting in for damage is kind of a leak in my game, so it's something I'm kind of trying to keep an eye out for. Even if I'm not noticing the times when I'm missing it, at least like remembering that Mutavault is a sort of card or a situation where I could definitely be missing that a lot. I should go back and look for those sorts of instances. Looks like our opponent may be playing this Brazen Bar to equip the Shadow Spear to it. Looks like maybe they're going to activate Nykthos there, except it's entirely mana neutral. Alright, well, there's a Brazen Borrower in play. Okay, so this Fatal Push can kill the Brazen Borrower if I lose a creature somehow. I could do this by throwing Dusk Legion Zealot. I could just throw Dusk Legion Zealot at the Brazen Borrower. I'd also kind of like to play this Champion of Dusk because I can draw a lot of cards with it. It's also the question of if I expect my opponent has some sort of counter magic, which I don't think they do. They haven't shown me anything remotely like that yet. So I guess the play I'm looking at is, activate both Mutavaults by tapping themselves, and then cast the Champion of Dusk, which would draw us 4 cards and put us to 12. And then we would plus a Sorin and throw probably the Dusk Legion Zealot at the Brazen Borrower, just to get that out of the way and make sure it's not threatening our Sorin. Either way, I think we definitely want to be drawing 4 cards here, so we are going to make this play of drawing 4 cards. That just seems good. Actually, I really should have waited to make sure this Champion of Dusk was going to resolve. Opponent could just be running a Essence Scatter. Any of a number of counterspells. This could have been done very poorly. No, it's going to resolve. We're going to have a stacked hand of cards. And then, yeah, I just want to make sure that this Brazen Borrower isn't going to stick around. It's kind of an interesting question if we want to sacrifice a Mutavault or a Dusk Legion Zealot there. What have we here? Casting that from hand. That cannot block, because Murderous Rider does not fly, but that will be able to pressure Sorin. So, okay. Actually, they will be able to equip Shadow Spear and kill the Sorin, which is relevant. But we do have a pretty good board. We have a stocked hand. Fatal Push definitely going to be able to deal with this Brazen Borrower, I think. We'll see. We'll see. Siren Storm Tamer, that's kind of annoying. I assume this is going to be an equip and attack. I do still have another Sorin in play, so I can Sorin plus maybe throw a Mutavault at Brazen Borrower. And then have Fatal Push up. If our opponent was able to get Thassa animated, that would be pretty scary. Thassa 5/5, and our opponent only 1 Devotion Sword at the moment. I'm gonna activate the Nykthos, which is gonna be, now for the first time I think this game, a net positive on mana. Ooh, and another Nykthos. This is gonna be a big Gadwick. That could be pretty scary. would be a draw 4 cards. I guess I had to draw 4 cards on my turn. Okay. Okay. So I think this is still fine, honestly. I can play my Sorin, throw a Mutavault at Master of Waves, and Fatal Push the Brazen Borrower, and have a second Fatal Push. I think, do I have enough mana to do all of that? I think I should. This is going at me, this is going there. Yeah, this is fine. This doesn't make the thing indestructible, right? They lose indestructible. Yeah, okay, okay. So we're going to play the Sorin, animate a Mutavault, throw the Mutavault at the Master of Waves, and then a creature has left the battlefield, so we can just push and push. And that's all going to be fine. Do I want to throw a Gifted Aetherborn instead of a Mutavault? Maybe. No, I think I'm fine to throw a Mutavault. You may sacrifice a vampire. I will sacrifice this vampire. Shoot Master of Waves. I expect this to get Siren Storm tamed. This counters target spell or ability, that's fine. I will push you. And I will push you. And I don't get any life off the Sorin, but that's fine. I can attack for 8, or would I rather attack for 6 and play a Gifted Aetherborn? I think I would rather attack for 6 and play a Gifted Aetherborn. Our opponent empty-handed, not particularly close to turning on Thassa. Nothing to equip the Shadow Spear to. This can tap for black mana. We have a Planeswalker in play. I think we're gonna get there. Opponent's going to the bottom. Gadu could still be a draw 2. Here I think we can plus on a Gifted Aetherborn. We can play a Kalidas for reasons. We can animate this. Go to combat. Attack. Kalidas pre-combat is going to give us a zombie in case they play a Merfolk Trickster or something. But yeah. That's game 2. I'll be back in just a minute. We'll go on to game 3. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that. It's quite hot in my apartment right now, so I turned some fans on. I did a couple tests in the break. I don't think the microphone is really picking up the fans, but pretty hot, so I'm just gonna have to have these on. If they're coming across pretty loud, be sure to let me know in comments and such, and I'll try to make sure that's all sorted out for next time. But anyway, into match 3. Got 3 expensive cards in our hand that we're just not gonna be able to cast for a while. Really don't have any plays except for a Knight of the Ebon Legion and Thoughtseize, which it's kind of a borderline mulligan, but I think it's still definitely a mulligan. This hand, we're on the draw, and any land gets us to a Dusk Legion Zealot, which gets us another draw. I think we can keep this, but it's not great. I'm actually going to keep the Champion Dusk because it goes with the Sorin. So I think we can put the Murderous Rider back. We have the Thoughtseize, which kind of functions as a removal spell. We'll see what our opponent is on. Looks like some sort of green creature deck. I don't think we're too scared of anything our opponent's going to do on turn 2. So we'll go ahead and lead on the Knight. Should note we have a wonderful cats versus, I guess it's a dog and a cat. But cat versus cats and dogs. So maybe some sort of, maybe the Mono Green Planeswalkers deck. Thoughtseize should be pretty good there. Fortunately, this 1-2 not matching up super well against the Knight. We really need to draw a land here. It's not a land. We will go ahead and Thoughtseize. Alright, well, we kind of just need to take everything our opponent is doing here. I think we let the Jade Light through, maybe, because that we can blink once we get up to Kalidas or Champion of Dusk. But the Planeswalkers definitely have to go. This Voracious Hydra, it's going to be able to eat something eventually. Our opponent can also play it next turn, but I don't think they're going to. We're just definitely going to need to get rid of the Planeswalkers, so I think we're just going to do that now. But we are definitely going to draw running lands to be able to get out of this. Frozen Guts up to a Nissa. Like, we definitely just have to stop the Nissa. It's the castle. It's going to be the Jade Light Ranger. We'll see what they hit. So going to hit an Elvish Mystic and an Oath of Nissa. And they bid the Oath of Nissa. Okay. We're still not hitting lands, so we're just still going to Thoughtseize away the Nissa. And we're just going to have to pass. Hard to see too much working out this game. Our opponent's going to be attacking for 6. They're going to make a 4/5 Hydra. Or rather, they're going to make a Vivian. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much we can do here. We'll try again and hope for a better opening hand. Yeah, so Self-Inflicted Wound is going to be a good card here. Actually, I am kind of liking the Rankle here. I like some discard to hit the Planeswalkers before they're coming out. I don't think we need all of it, maybe 1 or 2. Heartless Act might actually be kind of bad. A lot of our opponent's cards are going to have counters on them. Definitely like the Murderous Riders. So for what's coming out, I like Rankle in this deck. I feel like making them sack creatures could actually be pretty good, so maybe I'll swap these out for the champions. Actually, maybe I'll do these out for the Silver Smoke Ghouls. I kind of like that switch last time, and then I think I want like maybe 1 more Agonizing Remorse. Maybe I can cut. I don't like the Kalidas. I'll just trim on a Dusk Legion Zealot and another Dusk Legion Zealot. A little worried I might be over sideboarding there. Hard to say. I will go first. 2 lands, at least. Fortunately, can't cast Gifted Aetherborn on this hand, but I think this is still definitely good enough to keep. We'll have a Fatal Push for interaction, a Self-Inflicted Wound for interaction. Should be getting to Sorin. This should be fine. Our opponent going to 6 cards. Okay. That's an Elvish Mystic. We'll be able to Fatal Push that. Not too worried, not too worried. There is a Swamp. Kind of curious if we want to. Our opponent's plays on 3 are not really what we tend to be scared of. It tends to be the 4 or the Vivian and the Karn. So there's definitely some argument to just playing our Gifted Aetherborn. But I think we should still do this. If we don't play the push this turn, we're sort of locking ourselves into playing it next turn, and next turn is the turn we're going to want to play a Sorin and start getting some counters on our creatures. So I'm fine with this line. Opponent with just a Burning Tree on turn 2. That's pretty fine. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and just put a counter on this. Opponent's not going to be able to do too much with Burning Tree Emissary this turn. They can't get into the Sorin and knock Sorin down to 3, but that's fine. We'll get a Sorin in play. Next turn we'll get out a Gifted Aetherborn, which will be a good brick wall. Jade Light Ranger. Okay, okay. Wolf Willow Haven in the graveyard. Karn in the graveyard. 4/3 Jade Light. Okay. Okay. This is attacking Sorin. So Self-Inflicted Wound. Ooh. This is a Rankle. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I'm really not sure what the line is here. I can throw the Mutavault at Jade Light Ranger. I can Rankle and make my opponent sack. I would also have to lose my knight. I could just play Gifted Aetherborn and pass. It's hard to know if I'm supposed to be playing offensively or defensively here. Like, I can just build out my board. I have a Planeswalker. My opponent is also likely to have a Planeswalker, and I might have a hard time getting through to Planeswalker. I guess I have the Rankle, but I'd really like to be hitting my opponent with that for triggers. I also don't hate Rankle attack discard. I'm really not sure what to do here. I feel like trading a Gifted Aetherborn. Well, no, I would rather trade the Mutavault for the Jade Light Ranger, right? So I think I should do that. Sacrifice this. Shoot the Jade Light. Go ahead and get in with the Knight. This does mean I'm not necessarily going to be able to cast the Rankle next turn. Didn't really consider that factor. Yeah, I'm really not sure what the right line that turn was. It's tough. Just a Burning Tree Emissary is totally fine. This is making Self-Inflicted Wound pretty bad. Don't really like that. Nykthos. Alright, well, I guess this makes Rankle pretty good. I think we can leave the Gifted Aetherborn back to block. We're attacking with, like, Knight Rankle. I'm definitely attacking with Rankle. We're definitely putting counter on Knight. That's why I'm making this a 3/4. I don't really want my opponent to trade Burning Tree Emissary for 2 Knights. So I think I'm just putting a counter on Gifted Aetherborn, honestly. And then I'm attacking with Rankle. And pretty interested. Put this trigger on the stack. I think I'm interested in making my opponent discard a card. The Self-Inflicted Wound is not doing too much at this point. Do I want to be drawing cards? Not this turn I don't want to be. And I don't want to be sacrificing creatures. But it does seem my opponent's cards are pretty valuable. Yeah, that's a Karn. Glad to be stripping that. Alright, 4 mana Vivian. The -3 not really going to be effective here. So I guess we're just pumping up a Burning Tree Emissary to be a 4/4. That's fine. I can block that with a Gifted Aetherborn trade. Rankle can keep the Vivian in check. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get a trigger for that. That's okay. That's really good. We'll go ahead and Swift End the Vivian. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can actually cancel. Can actually go ahead and do this. I can Swift End the Vivian. Then go ahead and cast this. And then I can go ahead and put a counter on... I don't know, here I guess. That actually doesn't make any sense. So my opponent has a 4/4. Yeah, let's attack with the Rankle. We will make our opponent discard. Our opponent's just done here. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. How do I feel about all these cards? I like the Rankle. Yeah, pretty happy with everything. Self-inflicted wounds, actually maybe not so great. Definitely just kind of dead in a lot of situations. Maybe I bring the Heartless Act in anyway. They definitely don't hit everything, which is awkward. Might actually be okay with the Liliana. It hits the Llanowar Elves. It just shrinks stuff. Maybe not. Might not be good enough. I think actually I'm okay with the Agonizing Remorse. Seems okay. It let the scary planeswalkers we care about. Just don't want our opponent to start rolling continuous advantage with those. This hand, not going to do it. No black mana. This hand is fine. Don't think we need 2 knights. Might actually be a little difficult to run with 2 knights. Fortunately, not gonna have a push here. Double Sorin, not really where we wanted. I think we'll lead off on Thoughtseize because we might Thoughtseize again next turn. Yeah, I think we're just gonna take both the Nissas over a couple turns. Our opponent's just gonna have a lot of ramp. Which, you know, definitely means they have a lot of scary top decks. But, because they're going to have the Nissa this turn, so we're going to Thoughtseize now. It's a 5 mana turn 3, but we've got the other Thoughtseize. Oh, good grief. Well, that happened. So we can still kind of get out of this if we draw Murder Strider next turn. But really, drawing the 3rd Nissa. That was something. And you have a Burning Tree Emissary to go with it. Okay, okay. Yeah. Not seeing us do too well here. 3rd Sorin. Okay, well, we're just, that's just funny, isn't it? Sure, just making some wolves. Yeah, we're pretty dead even if we get the Swift End. It's looking like both at Sorin. That's fine. I'm not really interested in trying to protect the Sorin. It doesn't natively have Death Touch. I guess I will block this. Not really sure why that's happening. Did I miss something? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, seems fine. We're not winning that match. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, not much we could have done that. Game 3, Game 1, had bad mulligan. That happens. Jeez. Sorry. Warrior's getting caught in fans again. Two and one. Doing pretty good. It's about kind of what I expected for this deck. Strong showing, not necessarily tier 1. This hand looks great. Go Knight to give to Aetherborn, have a Thoughtseize up at some point. Bryant Cook. Do not know Bryant. Champion of Dusk, a little sad in the opening hand, but still fine. If we draw into Sorin for a turn 3 play, it'll be solid. Otherwise, still happy to just play it naturally on turn 5. Temple of Mystery. Okay, so this is looking like some sort of reclamation deck, probably. That's kind of what I would expect. Some sort of, or just some sort of Uro pile, maybe. We'll go ahead and Thoughtseize next turn. I don't think we need to do that right now. In the meantime, just get our creatures out, start beating down. Oh, Lotus Field. Okay. Okay, well, that's a thing. I don't think we care too much what our opponent is going to do next turn, so I think, honestly, we just pump the Knight here. Just get in for as much damage as we can, get a counter on the Knight, and go aggro. We'll be able to do that and Thoughtseize next turn, so that's fine. Okay, there's another temple. See where that scry goes. It's going to the bottom, so not a land, I guess. This attack is going to be for 7, which puts our opponent to 6. Okay. And we will cast Thoughtseize and see if we can strip something relevant out of our hand. So none of this is card draw except for strategic planning, so I think we take the strategic planning. I don't even think our opponent can win even if we don't take it, because the Lotus Field will come in tapped. I guess what they do is they, like, float 2 mana Lotus Field Hidden Strings. I guess the Vizier is card draw, but I think we're supposed to take strategic planning here. So we'll see if our opponent can do anything, and they get to do some stuff. But I think it's mostly just float mana, play the Lotus Field, cycle Vizier, then they'll have 2 mana, so they can, like, Hidden Strings. Okay, they could also do this. That's interesting. It's gonna buy them some time, it looks like. Yeah, that looks good. I can animate the Mutavault and attack. They're still gonna block the Knight and take 2. So I think maybe I'm supposed to castle and search for Thoughtseize. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. In which case, I guess I'm playing a land and attacking. My opponent's actually blocking here. Actually, I think I'm kind of obligated to pump at this point. Because otherwise my opponent goes to 4 and the attack next turn isn't lethal, so... It's actually maybe a bit of a misplay on my part. Maybe I shouldn't... Well, no, I was always going to attack like... Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I had to do. My opponent just bought an extra turn with Fae of Wishes, which is fine. Let's see if they can cobble something together here. I assume we're going to start with Vizier Vizier. Yeah. I mean, Vizier Vizier nets you 2 mana and 2 cards. I don't think you're going to be able to get another Lotus Field into play, though, so I'm not... I don't think the Sylvan Scryings are going to do anything for you on your combo turn. I think he's trying to get a Pour Over the Pages, which is mana negative with only 1 Lotus Field. Yeah, so you can do this. So if you net 2 mana, you can get to Hidden Strings. You've used Vizier, Vizier, Sylvan Scrying. Hidden Strings untaps 2 things. Yeah, but you didn't get to untap Thespian Stage as a Lotus Field. I guess untapping just a Thespian Stage as a colorless mana source is fine. It's still mana negative. Are we actually doing this? Are we actually doing this? I'll be impressed. I'll be impressed. We had a good start. We had a Thoughtseize. I don't think we know any of the cards in our opponent's hand at this point. But they had just enough to be able to get to this point. Really just depends on what they've drawn and if they have the right card draw spells to be able to keep going. That's really good. I think they need to find a Hidden Strings to keep going, basically, or another Vizier. But chances are good they'll be able to find one with the dig. And if they found another dig, they're all loaded up and ready to go. Yeah, there's a Vizier to keep going. I'm curious what they're going to kill with. I don't actually know what they kill with. I do love playing decks like this. I really love intricate combo, counting mana, living or dying by whether or not you're 1 mana short or 1 card short. For now, though, all we can do is just kind of wait and see if they got it or not. Generally speaking, the longer they're going off, the better the chance they have it actually hitting everything. But a lot of the cards have just been straight card draws, so they could have hit a lot of blanks, but, I mean, second dig through time. I feel like things are not looking good for us. Really not sure how feasible it is for them to be going off of just 1 Lotus Field, though. I feel like this deck usually needs 2. Their Hidden Strings are just not generating as much mana. Their pour over the pages are mana negative. So we'll see. Like, normally at this point they would have, like, 10, 12 mana floating, but they're only at 1 with their lands untapped. There's their third dig. Part of this depends on what their win condition is too, because if their win condition is supposed to be Expansion Explosion, which I think I've seen some decks try to use, yeah, they couldn't find it. Cool. Well, as a combo deck, we definitely want these Agonizing Remorses. I don't think these Fatal Pushes or this Heartless Act are going to be where we want to be at. Soul Guide Lanterns seem good against Dig Through Time. Be happy to have Rankles, just make them discard some cards. Think we can shave some Champion of Dusk and some Kalitas. I'm not expecting our opponent to really have any creatures to speak of. Kalitas may be better than Champion of Dusk just because it's able to come down sooner. I don't mind having 1 to try to combo with the Sorin. Just to draw some cards, but drawing cards is not really where it's at. Yeah, I think Kalitas is just better. Four lands, we have a discard spell. Can hopefully draw on something with our Dusk Legion Zealot. I think this is a keep, but I don't love it. We'd love to draw Thoughtseize. No such luck. Curious if our opponent has any sort of transformative sideboard, some sort of creatures that they would bring in. I highly doubt it. Doesn't seem like where they'd want to be at. Just thinking about if there was any reason whatsoever to leave Fatal Pushes in. You see that sometimes out of control decks, that they'll bring in like a Monastery Mentor or a Baneslayer Angel after you've brought out all your removal. But it's not so much what's going on here. Okay, I think Agonizing Remorse next turn. It's probably what they're doing this turn is they'll just play something for 2 mana and then play their Lotus Field. So, discard spell this turn, not as relevant. It's more relevant what we're doing next turn. Hopefully if the Dusk Legion draws us into a Thoughtseize. Actually, there is no Lotus Field from them. So maybe they're needing to use a Sylvan Scrying, which is not an instant, so... Don't know. Alright, well, I think we're definitely have to pull the trigger on Agonizing Remorse this turn. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll see what you've got. See if you're going to cast something. No. Those are some red spells that you cannot cast right now. Okay, well that's interesting. Well, we're going to take this Pour Over the Pages because it's castable and you have 2 Angers. And then we're just going to play out some cards. And we will hope that you do not find a Lotus Field or a Lotus Field or a Sylvan Scrying. Kalitas will live through the Anger of the Gods, so that's kind of okay. Sorin... Might play Sorin just to spit out a Kalitas. I don't think that was a play this turn, but might be able to get a free mana there somewhere. This is now a Mutavault? It's actually pretty good. Need to remember that. There's another Thespian stage, we knew about that. Okay. Thoughtseize. Nope. Alright, well... I think we're just gonna play this Sorin and spit a Kalitas into play. Kalitas will block well against Mutavault. No, not like that. I do this. Put this Kalitas into play. No sense in attacking with the Dusk Legion Zealot. Next turn we can Sorin Pump the Dusk Legion Zealot. And at some point here I might want to crack the Soul Guide Lantern. I think the Thespian stage... wonder if there's any way our opponent tries to like get Castle Lochthwain going. I think it's much more likely they should make it a Mutavault. Nope, they're making it a Castle Lochthwain. Interesting. I mean, that could come into play. We are not pressuring our opponent particularly well this game, which is unfortunate, but we're taking a bit of a slower line because we know our opponent's stuck with a lot of stuff that's not doing too much. But as soon as they hit a Lotus Field, we're pretty unhappy. Oh, our opponent's just going to concede. Okay. Fine with me. 3-1. Good place to be. I'm liking this deck. It feels very good. Feels like we can efficiently play aggressively. We can efficiently try to grind out our opponent. I am liking it. Really curious what are the Lotus Field decks like? What does an actual Lotus Field deck look like nowadays post bans? Pioneer. Lotus combo. Omniscience. Oh, do they like Omniscience, Fae of Wishes? Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And then they go get... I don't know how they win the game. Is it like Jace? Is it like Omniscience for Enter the Infinite and then Jace? Is that how this works? Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, that's cute. RBV 10 or 1. Okay. The 2 Urborgs is not what we want to see. I didn't realize the deck list had 2 Urborgs in it. Seems like that might be a mistake. We can't keep this. I just can't keep that. This is also bad, but I think it's a keep. Tuck back a Champion of Dusk. Not getting there for a while. But Sand really wants to draw a Swamp. We're going to lead on Castle Lochthwain and then go that Mutavault next turn. Fortunately, Castle Lochthwain not a Swamp, so it doesn't cause itself to come into play untapped. Which would be really nice, but it's not how things are working out. Forest. Is it Planeswalkers again? It could be Planeswalkers again. Okay, well in this case I think we have to Fiddlish the Elf. Which is fine because that lets us get our Castle Lochthwain in play tapped. We'll have a Murder Strider check 1 Planeswalker. Oh, this is actually is not looking like planeswalkers. Maybe? Don't really know what this is. I guess this is just Duskleaf Zealot plus Thoughtseize. It's kind of tempting to get Sorin down an empty board, but Sorin's not actually doing anything right now. So I think we should just kind of develop our board. And let's see what our opponent is up to. I do not know what is going on here. Is this Possibility Storm? I think this might be Possibility Storm. In which case, I think we want to take away their sorcery? Yeah, okay. So the way that Possibility Storm works is that they play a Possibility Storm, which means that whenever you cast a spell, you basically cascade for another spell of the same type. So if you play a creature, you reveal cards off the top of your deck until you get a creature, and you cast the creature. And the idea is that you play these adventure cards, so that, like, this is a creature card in your deck, except when you cast it as Seasonal Ritual, it's a sorcery. And so you get to turn this card into, like Enter the Infinite, and you draw your deck. And then the idea is that you get a Borborgmos into play and throw all your lands at your opponent. Which I'm not sure what this deck does when they draw the Borborgmos. I built this deck at one point. I don't think I ever actually played a game with it, but I built the deck at one point. But I think this is a combo matchup, so I think we're just trying to get our opponent dead here. Wish we had some more pressure or disruption. Murderous Rider, not really disruption we're looking for. I think at this point we're probably just hard casting the Murderous Rider. If this is the Kiora, I don't really care about that, I don't think. Not really sure what the function of the Kiora is in this deck. Is it just to ramp? I'm genuinely unclear. Like, I don't think we're drawing too many cards with it. I think it's just a ramp. Possibly a bad distraction. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 4, 6, 8. This actually lets you cast Borborgmos this turn. Although I have Murderous Rider in hand, so I don't exactly care. So I think that's fine. I think I'm just shoving. And casting a Silver Smoke Ghoul, I think. Really don't think I care about Kiora. And I'll be able to have some lifelinking creatures every turn, so I can kind of do this grindy thing where I sacrifice this to draw cards and keep getting it back. Don't know that I have time to do that grindy stuff with the situation as we have it. Yeah, we're casting Borborgmos, that's fine. I guess our opponent will be able to shoot some of our creatures down, but I mean, I think they're going to get to this point anyway, so I don't feel like it's too worthwhile to try to fight them on that axis. I think we just want to let them cast Borborgmos and then kill it. This is going to let our opponent draw a card. Maybe we should have cared about it for that reason. Worst case, our opponent kills both of our things, I guess. But we should be able, with this Sorin in play, unless our opponent kills our Sorin, we should have access to plenty of lifelink to be able to get the Silver Smoke Ghoul back. And we have another Sorin in hand, so that would be fine. We'd be okay with that line. I think we're really just trying to not let our opponent combo off. Sure. That was a stomping ground, so we know nothing of our opponent's hand now. We are going to kill this with extreme prejudice. Then we'll put a counter on you and get in. Don't think we care about our opponent's ramp now, we're just trying to end the game. Murderous Rider, not a vampire, not synergizing with Sorin. But that's okay. So we could go ahead and give our own Silver Smoke Ghoul lifelink, tag with it to trigger the gain life, and then sacrifice it, but that's going to be losing counters. Okay, so we're making a 1-1 and a 5-5 here. It's fine, I have another Murderous Rider. Although we are drawing some more cards here. What do I want to be drawing here? The land would be okay, because we could Murderous Rider and then activate the Mutavault. Then, like, Sorin on the Mutavault and attack. Our opponent is doing a lot of things here. Like, we're going to be making a bunch of 2/2s in a few turns here. Okay, so that is a swamp. So we are going to be able to push reasonably well here. So I'm just going to Swift End this. Wasn't exactly how I meant to tap, but that's fine. We can go ahead and animate this. I think we're fine to put a counter on this, just to spread the love around. Attack our opponent. And our opponent now on 4 is dead to a pair of Sorin pluses. This has to sacrifice vampires. Zombie vampire, okay, okay. Which we can do. Our opponent has found the Possibility Storm, though. Are they going to be able to go off? What is their last card? This does also mean that... no, our Sorin is still going to cascade into a Sorin, so that's fine. Does our opponent have something? They are gonna get the, They got a creature. Okay. They got an Elvish Mystic. That's fine. Okay, so I think we got there. Just as long as our Sorin actually cascades into a Sorin. Which I'm pretty sure is how this works whenever a player casts a spell from their hand. Yeah, and then they cast Possibility Storm, and there's no, like, Teferi or something to stop us from casting the Possibility Storm card, so that's fine. Yeah, okay. I think we're good. I'm gonna make this a creature. We're gonna sacrifice a vampire. We're gonna target you. We're gonna play this. We're going to cast this. We're going to keep this one. Then we're going to do this again. Cool. So we're going to want... Again, we're going to want some hand disruption. Sacrificing green creatures. Anticipating mana elves. I don't actually know how I feel about this self-inflicted wound. I feel like it's not going to hit the creatures we care about. Not really sure how I want to approach this matchup. Because they're, on the one hand, they are a combo deck, but they also just have a decent, like, attacking with efficient creatures approach as well. Like, Kalidas can definitely make an army of zombies. I'm also perfectly happy to have Rankles in this matchup. I like to think Liliana the Last Hope is a good here, too. Maybe 2 Agonizing Remorse is enough. Maybe we don't need the Silver Smoke Ghouls. Maybe we don't actually need these Murderous Riders. We can bring in the Rankles instead. I don't know, I want this Liliana. And maybe I cut a Dusk Legion Zealot. This feels a little weird. I'm taking out all these Champion of Dusks. That's probably fine. I think this is okay. The other thing is I could bring in the other Agonizing Remorse for maybe a Kalidas. No, I like this. I like this. Alright, no colored mana, so we'll try again. Still don't know what's going on with my internet upload right now. Just can't break 0.2 megabytes a second. Very strange. Very, very strange. Our opponent is also on 6 cards. This hand, yeah. I just don't think we can keep this. The Thoughtseize is good, and we have 1 and 2 mana plays, but even if we hit lands, what are we really doing? We're not doing anything for we're not getting to our good cards for several turns, and that's even if we hit the swamp. The other hand going to 5 sucks. What could we really be hoping for more? We have hand structure and we have creatures. I've talked myself into it. Kalidas versus Rankle, not really sure. There's Knowledge Mystic. Fortunately, our removal spell was not... I did not mean to pass the turn there. Okay, well. That happened. Yeah, that's some ramp. I didn't really mean to close that, but I don't really know how to get it back. Okay, well, we are getting max punished here. I think we should need a Thoughtseize now, because our opponent could have Possibility Storm next turn. Which, in fact, they do. They also have a Glorybringer, which can get Heartless acted, so... we're kind of okay. But we are definitely very, very punished. Glorybringer is going to come down. It's going to get Heartless acted. And we'll see where things end up. I guess there was some argument to take the Glorybringer and just let our opponent have the Possibility Storm. We might even be able to do some good stuff with it ourselves, but strike target creature with no counters on it. We could have spun a Knight into a Champion Dusk or something. But we'll see, we'll see. Yeah, opponent getting in, that's fine. Let's get some 2/3s on the battlefield. What do we have here? Stomp, okay. Yeah, stomp a card that the Possibility Storm decks are going to play. Lets them cascade into an instant without running instants in their deck. Okay, that's also a Kiora. It's going to give our opponent some card draw. Not ideal. I feel like with our opponent being empty-handed, we're not too worried about the combo at this point. They're going to have to find the Possibility Storm and an Adventure Creature to spin into something. We're just kind of worried about playing against a red-green beats value deck. I think we just want to play more creatures here. Our opponent definitely could have cantripped in something really good with the Kiora, but well, now I'm thinking about it. Maybe we should have just thought seized, because we had the Bonecrusher Giant checked anyway. And we also could have played the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Interesting that our opponent did not want to make a 1/1 there. That's kind of surprising to me. It seems wrong. I did not mean to take that damage. I meant to block. Not playing well here. Not playing well. Okay. Well, that land is welcome. We'll just play the Knight now. And go ahead and have Heartless act up for something. Right now we're just sort of fighting the top of our opponent's deck. If we can get to a land, that would be nice. Just to get Rankle in there, but I don't even know if... Like, I don't think we're going to be on discard mode. I also don't really think we want our opponent to be drawing cards too much here. We're just happy to trade off here, and we're not going to spend a Heartless Act to save any of these. Gain some life, clear out the big fatties. Totally fine. Totally fine. And we're just going to make a 2/2 wolf, that's fine. And I don't know what this is. That's just another Wolful Haven. Okay. Okay, well, you're going to have some 2/2s. This is now a Rankle. I think we can start getting him with Rankle. We'll take 3. Actually, maybe we don't want to get in with Rankle. It's going to take Rankle 6 turns to do anything. And if we do that, we let our opponent get in for 2. We don't really want to be trading 2 for 3 here, I don't think. We can at least wait a turn until we have Heartless Act up. Or Knight Pump up. So that's fine. Yeah, we're making some wolves. Not too much going on. Rankle on defense here. Never really where you want Rankle to be. We could send Rankle in. I mean, they chose to make a wolf instead of casting a spell, so I don't think it's... I mean, it could be one of the other halves of the Possibility Storm, not the Possibility Storm itself, but the, Could also just definitely be a land. I think we're just gonna sit and do nothing. We have a Heartless Act up to check 1 big creature. So I think this is fine. Still surprised our opponent not interested in making 1/1s here. That seems entirely wrong to me. I think we can just go ahead and do this now. It's definitely going to happen. I'm going to start thinking about Castle Lochthwain here at some point. I actually don't mind like hitting with Rankle and discarding the excess Rankle. Just to get that card out of our opponent's hand. Not that I think it's really going to be that important. We can also draw with Rankle and then Thoughtseize where our opponent might draw. Kind of okay with that, actually. Just want to start drawing some action, you know? Yeah, so we're going to put this trigger on the stack. And we're going to have everybody lose life and draw a card. Then, we're going to Thoughtseize you. Sure, we'll take this Kiora. Not really doing too much. We'll draw another card. Okay. You're up. I didn't realize we were going to get the Knighted counter there. That's pretty nice. Certainly not complaining. Okay, so Wolfwell Haven. And we're just making a 2-2 probably. Yeah, we need to be a little worried now about our life total. Don't think we have room to be activating Castle Lockthwain too many times. I mean, we can attack with this Rankle and just play this other Rankle. I don't hate it just because I want to get it out of my hand so that I can Lockthwain, like, for cheaper. Yeah, we're going to make you discard a card this time. We're going to discard this Swamp. You're discarding just a land. That's fine. We will play this redundant Rankle. Keep this one. And go ahead. I really just want to draw like a Sorin so I can give things lifelink, or some creature, something. Ew, Tireless Tracker, that's not good. This does make me happy that I got rid of that land, but that can get out of hand quick, and it can't get Heartless acted. This is good, this is good. This is good. Honestly, I think I want to throw, like, Duskleeds and Zealot at Tireless Tracker. Because that could just get out of hand. Yeah, I think that kind of has to be the play. This also gains a little bit of life, which we definitely appreciate. I don't think we're getting with Rankle right now. Well, maybe we could. We have... Yeah, actually, we probably could have. Especially now that we gained the life off Mutavault, I think we could have gotten in with Rankle. We will Lockthwain here. This could be like a Glorybringer. Shared Summons. Okay. Well, this is what you're supposed to cascade into with the Stomp, because this lets you get a creature with the Sorcery Adventure. As it is, I think they're probably just getting, like, maybe a pair of Glorybringers or Glorybringer Borgamos. Ooh, okay. You can cast the Glorybringer here. So that's scary, that's scary. We don't have a removal spell. And the Borgamos is very castable. Okay. Not sure what we're doing about this. You are going to exert and hit probably the Rankle. Yep, definitely the Rankle. Okay, and we're hitting the Sorin. Makes sense. Okay, well, let's see if we can draw something relevant. Not really what we're looking for. Also not really what we're looking for. Maybe here. Okay, I mean, that's relevant. Take that away from you. Still don't know what we're going to do about this Glorybringer. If we put a counter on the knight, we can swing for 3. It would trade for a wolf. We'd be gaining 3, and the Mutavault would be able to block a wolf. So yeah, I actually don't mind this. We're doing this because we're pretty happy to gain 3 life. And we have enough blockers up with the Glorybringer being exerted that we'll still be fine. But overall, the shared summons definitely made our situation here a lot less tenable. And again, like I was talking about earlier in this video, like definitely wondering if I should have been getting with the Rankle earlier. Opponent could be a lot lower life if I... Oh. That is a thing I did not realize could happen. Yeah, okay. I'm sure the Glorybringer wants to attack. Okay, well that's gonna hit that. Go ahead and animate this. Is this all coming at me? Seems to be. Yep, you're dead. I'd like to block you, so I'll take 7, go to 2. And, like, if my opponent was a little bit lower, maybe this knight would be able to get in for the last points of damage. But, as is, like, even if I'm able to draw a removal spell for the Glorybringer, I'm facing down... No, a lot of damage. Let's see if we can draw Heartless Act. Rankle. Not really getting it done. I mean, I can give you lifelink, I can attack, I can make you, I can draw a card, but I'm not going to have mana to play it. Yeah, that's the game there. I wonder if they cited out the Possibility Storm. Probably not, because they had the shared summons. Actually, no, I saw the Possibility Storm. Of course they didn't cite it out. I think this is fine. Rankle... Not super impressed with Rankle. Also, I saw it being legendary, kind of be a drawback here, so I'm going to bring in 1 Champion of Dusk. Also, like, definitely happier to have Murderous Riders against these kind of big chunky cards. So I think I can take out the Champion of Dusk. Maybe take out one of the Agonizing Remorses too, and maybe a Fatal Push. Fatal Push actually not hitting the cards I really care about. I can take 1 more Fatal Push out for an Agonizing Remorse. It's mostly hitting the Mana Dorks. Actually, I don't think it's hitting anything else I care about. Maybe I don't even want the Fatal Pushes. I got plenty of other removal. I don't think I need to lean on the Fatal Pushes. That's fine. All right. Match 5, game 3. We will go first. This looks okay. Can definitely shut down any sort of combo draw from our opponent. And we'll be able to start attacking on... Be able to start getting our creatures down on turns 2 and 3. Seems fine. Our opponent on 6. Sometimes I wonder what's taking our opponent so long, but I've realized when I've started streaming that, you know, I talk through a lot of decisions that I'm making quite a bit, and it takes a while, so I can't blame my opponent too much for that. I think I'm going to take this Chandra, since we don't have a ton of removal for it, and we'll probably also Thoughtseize the other Glorybringer, honestly, but we've got a few turns before that'll pop up. It's a little sad to let our opponent have an uncontested Llanowar Elves, but such is life. So our opponent did draw some variety of 3-drops that they'd like to play. Maybe it's that, is it like a Rosethorn Acolyte? Yep. Okay, so it looks like we are going to want to Thoughtseize this turn, just to get that Glorybringer out of the way. Our opponent on just Forest, so that's fine. We'll keep drawing some cards. And we'll be able to start getting Rankle in there pretty soon. Rankle, actually not sure what we're going to want to be doing with Rankle. Doesn't seem like I really want to utilize any of the options. 4 Dusklegion Zealots. Oh dear, oh dear. Am I playing Rankle and leaving Rankle on defense? It's a very interesting decision. No, I think I play the Rankle, but I think I attack with it. Honestly, I think I might attack with everything. This might not look like a situation where I want to be racing, but I think I'm actually fine with it because I have the... My hand and board is better than my opponent's hand and board, so I do actually want to race. Even though it like looks like trading 3 damage for 2 damage might not be the best here, I'm pretty okay with that. And I think Here I'm actually totally fine to have my opponent sacrifice a creature. Get that Rosethorn Acolyte out of here. I don't really want my opponent drawing cards. I don't need to be making them discard either, I don't think. Apparently I was wrong about number of force they had. They drew a Chandra. That's pretty unfortunate. I assume they are at least going to kill this Rankle, so that'll let me play 2 Dusklegion Zealots and get the Chandra down, I hope. Kalitas, that's also really good. Yeah, sure. My opponent is going to have to top deck something to this, or at least they have 2 top decks because they can +1 with the Chandra. But I should be able to check this Chandra with the Kalitas. I also had access to the line of playing double Dusklegion Zealot, but if there's any blocker that doesn't kill the Chandra. I guess if there's any blocker, Kalitas doesn't kill the Chandra either. Looks like my opponent found something. If they found a Glorybringer, I'll be... Oh, jeez. Okay. That's the perfect answer for the Kalitas. That's very unfortunate. So we do have plenty of stuff in our hand that can answer the Chandras by attacking, but now we are going to have to find an answer to the Glorybringer. Fortunately, we did draw a 5th land, so we can Dusklegion Zealot and Silver Smoke Ghoul. Thus he's not where we want to be at right now. Our opponent's threats are on the board. Yeah. Yeah, that's a blocker for the Chandra. Yep, okay. Could really use a removal spell here. Could really use something. That is something. Don't think it's quite enough. Alright, so I think we're attacking Chandra here. I expect this block. Yeah, of course. This Chandra can now kill something, so I need to draw something here. What is something? Now our opponent's just going to be able to kill us with Glorybringer plus Chandra. I assume they'll see the line. Alright, well that's unfortunate. I really liked our position here. I think we're in a very good position to win top deck battles. And our opponent just sort of drew the perfect 2 answers. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Our opponent not taking the line that wins the game this turn, interestingly. I guess they don't know. I mean, we're not tapped out. We could have stuff. At this point, is there an answer? I don't think so. Yeah, sure. Alright, well, that was a 3 and 2. Not a terrible finish, not super exciting either. I still definitely feel like I see some power in this deck, although I definitely see some shortcomings in it too. I still think the ability of this deck to just grind out is really powerful. Sorin can just pick down creatures that are annoying. It can gain you life. It can. I think Silver Smoke Ghoul is just really cool in this deck. It might be a little cute. You know, I saw a couple times when it was going to come back. It's not like something you're triggering a ton here. But you're just, in any Black Deck and Pioneer, you get to run just some really powerful cards in Thoughtseized and Fatal Push. And it's kind of just a matter of how you want to supplement it. In this case, we just have some pretty powerful Vampire synergies here. Champion Dust coming in off Sorin is great. I really like this deck. I could definitely see myself playing it in the future. 3-2, solid finish. I'm pretty okay with that. So that's Mono Black Vampires and Pioneer. I hope you'll check out some of the other videos I have on my YouTube and check out the stream too. Thanks for watching.